Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The health minister weighs in on the latest development with junior doctors.
A 31-year-old immigration officer is arraigned on fraud charges in the magistrate's court.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Junior doctors are still on strike despite government's move to refer the matter to the Industrial Tribunal. Government is now reportedly seeking an injunction ordering them back to work. However, doctors upped the ante today and marched from Princess Margaret Hospital to Rawson Square. Jared Higgs reports.
Solidarity!
Junior doctors remain on strike despite the matter being referred to the Industrial Tribunal. BDU officials telling Our News that government is in the process of preparing an injunction, and once the BDU's lawyers are served with it, they will prepare and present its case in court.
We stay steadfast, stand down until we get word, until we get that injunction in hand.
On Tuesday afternoon, dozens of junior doctors marched from PMH to Rawson Square. The move was contrary to an expectation that the junior physicians would return to work. However, the BDU said it would stand its ground until the court orders it.
Sometimes you got to sit in jail for some of them to let them know that, hey, we standing together.
Earlier on Tuesday, Bassett was flanked by no less than 8 other trade union leaders as she addressed approximately 100 doctors at BCPOU headquarters. She says given government's move to end its strike, the union will up the ante.
One thing that the minister has failed to realize is that we have 4 other matters that they did not attend at the Industrial Tribunal, trade disputes that have already been filed. We're going to call for a strike vote on all of them.
On Monday afternoon, Labour Minister Dion Fowkes indicated that he had referred the dispute over holiday pay to the Industrial Tribunal. However, TUC President Obi Ferguson called that decision into question. He says the matter being referred to the Industrial Tribunal has no value because the body can't impose terms and conditions on the government or the union. Ferguson claims his position is backed up by previous decisions of the Court of Appeal, and he says he let the Health Minister know that.
I said to Dr. Sands, in my humble opinion, from my years of experience in this business, it's appropriate that he meet with the union and try to resolve the matter.
Several other trade unions expressed support for the doctors' plight, including the Consultant Physicians Staff Association. Its president, Dr. Loxie Monroe, called for both sides to get back to the negotiating table and slammed the strategy being employed by some who oppose the junior doctors' industrial action.
To us, it is very distasteful and unacceptable for the bullying tactics and all those intimidating ideas and items that are being placed in social media. They are very dishonest and misleading.
Before a cheering crowd of junior physicians, Bahamas Nurses Union President Amantia Williams blasted Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands.
We got to put the stop right here today. And we got to say to the Minister of Health, it's either we ain't going nowhere, you got to go, because there's more of us. There's more of us.
The junior doctors' strike kicked off last Wednesday morning. The strike certificate was obtained last December. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, amid the back and forth between health officials and junior doctors, Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands acknowledged that the drama won't end soon. Jasmine Brown has that.
He says the fact of the matter is the drama is not over.
Obviously, we are not of the view that this is the end of the drama, the end of the problems. And we will have to deal with issues being raised by the nurses as well as by the BPSU. And we're prepared to meet with them, to deal with them in a respectful collegial manner.
It is estimated that just over 400 doctors on New Providence and Grand Bahama were involved in the strike. The key issue was holiday pay, with the union claiming that the doctors are not being paid for working on holidays. The health minister said while he can understand the doctors' concerns, he doesn't think the process has to be acrimonious.
The tension that exists does not have to be angry, acrimonious.
Sands said he looks forward to restoring some sense of normalcy.
We look forward to a return to normalcy. The concern about the public's welfare is paramount. And obviously, the Bahamian people have a right to be able to get safe, reliable health care services.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
A tropical storm alert is in effect for the southeast Bahamas. That includes Mayaguana, Inagua, Crooked Island, and Acklins. Meteorologists are keeping a close eye on Tropical Storm Dorian, which is expected to be near hurricane strength when it approaches Puerto Rico tomorrow. It prompted Bahamians to start making preparations.
Not me. I start now. In fact, I just got 10 cases. I'm coming back for another 20 or 30 cases.
Don Lockhart says he has his truck stocked with dozens of cases of water as he prepares his home and his businesses for whatever is to come of Tropical Storm Dorian. The storm is currently making its way to Puerto Rico and expected to make landfall in the Dominican Republic by Thursday morning. Forecasters are now monitoring the system to see its interaction with the mountainous terrain of the Dominican Republic and whether it will weaken. Over in St. Lucia, Bahamian LAKEISHA Bostwick said they felt the effects of the storm.
It's an interesting experience here with Dorian. It's a lot of rain, not too much thunder and lightning. So a lot of rain, but St. Lucia shut down at 6 a.m. yesterday, and about 12 o'clock today they gave an all clear.
The storm is projected to reach the southeastern Bahamas by Friday and the northern Bahamas the following morning. Residents like SCIESKA KNOWLES aren't taking any chances, getting her hands on bottles of water.
I just wanted to make sure I have water, so I'm just here now getting some water, just to be on the safe side. You never know, so I just like to be prepared, just have everything in the house that I need and be ready.
Whether it comes or not?
Whether it comes or not, we still need water, so it's fine.
Yes, sir, I need that. I have a business I run, and I got to have some things on hand for this type of time.
According to KLG Investment Senior Manager Christian Knowles, business has already picked up at Aquapure, despite Bahamians usually being last minute.
You can usually tell, even if you don't know a storm's traveling, by the way the depot is in the morning when you come in. If there's more trucks, more cars, sometimes they park on the side of the road, but we're prepared.
Knowles mentioned that it's not just customers in Nassau already stocking up on water.
Some of our Family Island customers, they start looking at storms, they start getting nervous. They'll call us, they'll order their products, they'll order their water a little bit in advance. We get them out to the boat, and we make sure we have enough water for them as well.
The National Emergency Management Agency is said to be monitoring the system and will have a press conference Wednesday morning. And as public school students prepare for the September 2nd start of the new school year, Education Minister Jeffrey Lloyd was asked if he is concerned that the impending storm will slow down school repairs.
Of course. I mean, it all depends on when the storm, if it comes this way, and God forbid that it would, but if it comes this way, then naturally, yes. Because, there are people who are working on these job sites, and they ought to be protected, and they need to take care of themselves and their family. So, naturally, it will interfere with school repairs. But, for the time being, I'm not that worried about school repairs. Naturally, we are going to get school open, and we certainly want to have school open on time.
With repairs at schools such as C.R. Walker Senior High still a few weeks behind schedule, Lloyd said he is holding contractors to their word that the schools will be ready in time.
These are seasoned contractors. They know what they're doing, and they have assured us that they're going to be ready, but it's a push. C.R. Walker, I go there every day, and I push again and saying, hey, listen, this school has to be ready, because that's 1,000 students.
An immigration officer was charged with conspiracy and fraud charges in the magistrate's court today. Giorgio Bain has the details.
Officers of the Anti-Corruption Unit brought a 31-year-old immigration officer before the magistrate's court to face multiple fraud and bribery charges before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt. 31-year-old immigration officer Edwin Morley, seen in the black jacket, and 48-year-old Clive Schroeder, seen in the aqua shirt, were brought before the magistrate's court by officers of the Anti-Corruption and Financial Crime Unit just after 11 Tuesday morning. The pair were arraigned before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt. Morley, who was represented by attorney Tony Lewis, and Schroeder, who was represented by attorney Ian Cargill, were charged with conspiracy to commit fraud by false pretenses on March 15, 2019, while in New Providence being concerned together. The men were also charged with fraud by false pretenses. It is alleged that they obtained cash in the amount of $2,000 from Jamal Forbes on March 15th. Ferguson Pratt then read a third charge of bribery only to Morley, alleging that on March 15th, while in New Providence, while being a public servant, Morley did without lawful consent accept $2,000 as an inducement not to deport two females. However, attorney Ian Cargill stood and questioned the wording of the charge, stating that it did not fit the legal definition of bribery. This resulted in the court scheduling a status hearing for September 2nd to resolve the bribery charge, as the prosecution said it needs more time to speak with the lead investigator. The defendants entered a not guilty plea to all charges. Morley's attorney then addressed the court on behalf of her client, stating that both men revealed that they did not know each other and after they were in custody at the Nassau Street Police Station. After making note of the statement, Ferguson Pratt informed the defendants that she did not have the jurisdiction to grant them bail. Therefore, they were remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until they returned to court for the status hearing on Monday. Ferguson Pratt then allowed the defendants to speak with their family members. Morley cried openly in court while exclaiming to his parents that he did not commit the crime, before being taken away by officers. Schroeder remained in court awaiting the status hearing of an extortion charge that he received back in March. Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Results of the 2019 STEP survey revealing that poor health in the Bahamas has reached epidemic proportions. The survey took a look at the prevalence of non-communicable diseases and unhealthy habits. Jasmine Brown has a breakdown.
The results of the 2019 STEP survey, which was released at the Ministry of Health on Tuesday morning, revealed the Bahamas is an unhealthy nation.
We all have to look in the mirror and recognize that no, we are not doing what we should be doing to stay healthy. We are not eating properly. We're not feeding our children properly. We are consuming what is bad for us.
3,840 Bahamians ages 18 to 69 on the islands of Abaco, Cat Island, Eleuthera, Exuma, Grand Bahama, Inagua, and New Providence participated in the survey that included questionnaires as well as body measurements and urine and blood samples. STEPS is a standardized tool used to help countries understand their NCD burden. The survey showed that while 70% of Bahamians are achieving their desired level of physical activity, the Bahamas still ranks among the fattest nations in the Americas, as 71.6% of Bahamians are overweight.
Though we are moving more, we continue to eat ourselves to an early grave.
The survey also noted that there was a 26% increase in the population having diabetes and a sevenfold or 644% increase in the number of Bahamians having high cholesterol. As it relates to high blood pressure, the survey revealed that 47% of the population has high blood pressure and 38% are unaware they have high blood pressure. In addition to that, 2 in 5 Bahamians, or 38.8%, are at risk of having 3 or more NCDs.
When we mix this together, what we have are the components of a perfect storm that we cannot rebuke, that we cannot cancel, that we cannot bind up.
The Ministry of Health has launched a number of initiatives, including the expansion of the Wellness in the Nation 2017 to 2022 plan. Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, the STEP survey also revealed that more than half of the population is not practicing safe sex. According to the survey, 65% did not use a condom and 49% were not on the pill or shot during the last sexual encounter. The health minister says the numbers are concerning.
There is this belief of that it can't happen to me. That, again, this is the concern about HIV/AIDS, sexually transmitted infections, unwanted pregnancies is not my concern. But when you have not the entire population, but a significant percentage of the population thinking that way, then clearly it is your concern, particularly as you look at the prevalence of sexually transmitted infections and the unfortunate reality that the Bahamas has one of the highest, if not the highest, rates of HIV outside of sub-Saharan Africa.
Dr. Sands says the fact that so many people are choosing not to use protection validates the high transmission rates of STIs and STDs. And according to the survey, 12.1% of the population has had an STI. Meanwhile, 13% of people reported they were involved in a sex act against their will. As it relates to who is having sex and at what age, the survey indicated the average age of sexual debut is 17 years old, and 11.4% of Bahamians lost their virginity before the age of 15. Still to come, the unified bus system pilot project to start next week. Stay tuned.